Just about annoying, isn't it? Yes, it is. I don't know why it's doing that for. Yeah, we'll go ahead and stop it right there because that's just really getting on my nerves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Saturday afternoon, lunchtime. Doing this live using the Restream software that I tested the other day. I wanted to try it out and do an actual video on it rather than a test. I have messed around with it a little bit, but we'll see how this goes. I have the picture in picture down here, so you're able to see me, and you're also able to see the screen. So this live is going to be a quick little Bible study on the parable of the workers in the vineyard. It's in Matthew chapter 20. It's a parable that Jesus was speaking. We are going to talk about that. This is what I was going to talk about on Wednesday night at church, but it didn't turn out that way. So, like, share, subscribe. We are now live on Facebook and YouTube, so please like, share, comment. I am able to see comments here now, and I can make them pop up, which is pretty neat. So, yeah. Where is it at, actually? See, I done lost it. Anyway, yeah. Somewhere in here, there's comments, but no QR codes. Yeah, I don't want that. Chat. Okay, there we go. Now I see the chat, so I can show it. See, that's cool. I like that. Thank you for sharing. Another thing I can do is I can add it up here. So all the chat. If we have a live where I do like a Q&A type deal, you can see all the questions and stuff. But anyway, thank you for the share and the likes. Just a quick reminder that Fresh Fire at the first Sunday of the month, we have a mass deliverance service. Doors open at 5:30, and the service starts at 6 o'clock. First Sunday of the month, Fresh Fire Bible Church, 2809 Mars Hill Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46241, in the back of the Mars Hill Arts Building. Ways to support the ministry is there is a Patreon. Go to patreon.com, Aaron Durrett Ministries, for $5 a month. You can help support the ministry. All the money goes back towards the ministry and stays in the kingdom. $5 a month. You spend more than that for a cup of coffee every day. So $5 a month, you can support the kingdom. You sign up for it. It comes out directly out of your account every month. You don't even miss it. And it's good for the kingdom. Another way you can support the ministry is suitfather.com. That is my business. And you can go there and you can get you some nice men's ties and suits and suit accessories. That being said, we'll jump right in. This is the parable of the workers in the vineyard, Matthew chapter 20. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. We are going to start by reading the chapter 20 in the King James Version. For the kingdom of heaven is likened to a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again, he went out about the sixth and ninth hour and did likewise. About the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He saith unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden of heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last even as unto thee. It is not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own. Is thine eye evil, because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last, for many be called, but few chosen. That's as far as we're going to go in Matthew chapter 20. It is King James Version is a little more difficult to understand. I prefer reading and studying King James Version, but I also go to different versions for studying purposes and learning purposes. So I read it fully, King James Version, and now I'm going to go back through it in the New International Version because it's easier to understand it. So that should be good. That's pretty big there, I believe. Yeah. So what is a parable? The definition of a parable, according to the dictionary, says a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson as told by Jesus in the Gospels. That is what the dictionary says a parable is. I believe this is a story about grace. And a little quick Google search, there's an acronym for grace. And it says the G is for generosity, the will to do something more for others. R is for respect, the dignity of life and work. A is for action, the mechanism for change. C is compassion, concern for others. B is energy, the spirit that catalyzes us. That's from Google. A couple of those I see in this story. I see G for sure, generosity. R for respect, the dignity. I see that in here. And C, compassion, the concern for others. I mean, actually, really all of them's in here. Energy. So the main there's two places that you can kind of see here. There's a marketplace, and picture. Actually, I meant to have pictures of that. I was not prepared for this apparently, but good thing is we can go right here and we can do it. Apologize that I was not ready. I forgot. I just want visuals so you can kind of, it helps when you have visuals. I don't know what these are, but let's just use this picture here. I don't know what's going to pop up here, but so a marketplace. Yeah. Again, I feel stupid. I didn't have this ready. But you have a town, and what would happen is if you don't know what that is, people will stand and they will wait. These are all horrible pictures. It's ruining my video right now. They will stand in the town and they will wait at a certain spot because employers will come to certain places, and I guess we'll keep that up. They'll come to a certain place and they'll look for people that they want to come and hire for the day to do some labor work. So that's what the story is about. You have a marketplace with a group of people. Let's just say these people right here. There's a group of people there, and the other I'll just leave it like that. Visual that I wanted was a vineyard. If you don't know what that is, it's a place, a bunch of land that grows grapes for many reasons. Grapes for the fruit, grapes for wine, whatever. So the landowner, the boss, he goes to the marketplace, which again is here, to get some workers for the day. He needs some help. So we're going to start going through here. This is Matthew 20, New International Version. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire workers in his vineyard. He agreed to pay them a denarius for the day and sent them into his vineyard. So right off the bat, he goes up early in the morning and he looks for people to work for him for the day. First trip was about 6 o'clock in the morning. And he would pay them 1 penny for the day's work. So they got 1 penny for the day. Can you imagine living off of a penny a day? It'd be impossible. And they agreed. It says right there, they agreed that they would work for him for 1 day for a penny. So they went, and about 9 in the morning, he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace. So he had his first batch at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they went to the vineyard. They're working. So then he goes back about 9 o'clock in the morning, and he needed more workers. He needed some more. Doing nothing, he told them, "You also go and work in my vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right." So they went. Now, key word right here. He told them, "You also go and work in my vineyard." This is 9 in the morning. These guys were out there already 3 hours. "And I will pay you whatever is right." So he did not say, "I will pay you a penny." He said, "I'll pay you whatever is right." And they agreed, and they went. And here we go again. Yeah, so they went. He went out again about noon and about 3 in the afternoon. So noon and 3 o'clock, and he did the same thing. About 5 in the afternoon, he went out and found still others standing around. So 5 o'clock. Now, keep in mind, there's people there from 6 o'clock, there's 9 o'clock, there's noon, there's 3 o'clock. And he went to the people at 5 o'clock and he asked them, "Why have you been standing here all day long doing nothing?" And they said, "Because no one has hired us," they answered. He said to them, "You also go and work in my vineyard." So he's got a whole bunch of people now, a whole bunch of people working at his vineyard. Has a lot from 6 o'clock in the morning, which have worked all day long. He's got some more at noon, 9, 3, 5. So the people at 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 at night, that was pretty much a day's work back then. I mean, even still to this day, I mean, that's normal hours. So he's got all kinds of people there working. And even people that have been staying there at 5 o'clock. And that's very important because I want that to be known that these people that were taken at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and only went to work for an hour, they stood there all day long. That's very important in the story. You got to imagine that at 6 o'clock in the morning, a lot of people that want to work, they go to the marketplace, and you have some bigger. It's kind of like a dodgeball, the landowner, he goes and he takes his pick of the people that he wants. So he's probably going to go out there. He's going to pick the big, strong guys. The guys that look like they have a lot of energy, the guys that look like they can, maybe that aren't sick or anything like that, that can put in a good day's work. I mean, that's the landowner's, that's what he does. He goes and gets first pick. And then, like I say, it's like dodgeball because you want to pick or any sport, I guess, if you have team captains and you're picking your team, you want to get the strong guys, the good guys. And unfortunately, the people that maybe ain't so good are wait left till last. That's kind of maybe what happened here. And maybe the smaller and the weaker guys, sick guys or anything like that are left and may not get any work for that day. And then we go to when the evening came. The owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, said to the supervisor, call the workers. So day's over. Call the workers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last ones hired and going on to the first. So the landowner called the supervisor, said, all right, the day's over with. Call all the workers, call them up front here, and we'll get them their wages. We'll get them their pay. But he said, I want you to start with the last one hired and going to the first. So I want you to start with the people that I went and got at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I want you to pay them first. And then the ones that I got at 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock and noon, they're going to wait to get theirs because the ones at 5 o'clock, they're going to get paid first. That's important too. The workers who were hired about 5 in the afternoon came and each received a denarius. Again, that's a penny. So when those came who were hired first, which were the 6 o'clock people, all day people, they expected to receive more. They thought, all right, well, the guys that worked an hour, they got a penny. We've been here all day long in the heat and we're all wore out. We're sweating and we're completely tired from being here all day. They got a penny. We're probably going to get 2-3 pennies because we've been here all day. But each one of them also received a denarius. So they got a penny too. The all-day workers that was there at 6 o'clock in the morning, they got 1 penny. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. Those who were hired last worked only 1 hour, they said, and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of work and the heat of the day. They were upset. They were upset because the guys that only worked an hour got a penny, and they were there all day long, and they got a penny too. And when I first heard this story, I've heard it several times, and I've read it, of course. I always wondered, and here's a question I have to you, and you can answer in the comments: are they justified for being mad about that? I mean, do they have a right to be mad about that? They were out there all day long. And these people came in at 5 o'clock and only worked an hour, and they got a full day's pay, just like the guys that were already there. Tell me in the chat, what do you think about that? But he answered, the landowner, he answered one of them, I am not being unfair to you, friend. Didn't you agree to work for a denarius or a penny? Take your pay and go. I want to give the one who was hired last the same as I gave you. Don't I have the right to do what I want with my own money? Or are you envious because I am generous? So the last will be first and the first will be last. And that's, again, that's the end of the story there. So again, are they justified in being a little upset by that? And again, I when I heard this story, I was like, I would be too. I would be too. I'd be a little bit upset by that. And then I got to thinking, and that's why I wanted to do this parable, because I always wondered about this story and what it meant, why it was told. And once I got into it and researched it and learned it and read it and all that, I came to the conclusion is when you read the story or you hear it, we always seem to side with the all-day workers, the people that was there 6 o'clock in the morning. Looking at it from their point of view. We don't look at it from the point of view of the late workers, the guys that came in at 3 o'clock and at 5 o'clock. I'll just keep it on there. And then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, okay, I'm looking at it from the late workers' point of view. And here's what gets me, is it was kind of a test. Because I remember I said, where is it? Yeah, right here. Beginning with the last ones hired and going on to the first. So the landowner, he did that on purpose. He said, I want to pay the last ones first before the first ones. He wanted the guys that were there at 6 o'clock in the morning to see the guys that came in at 5 o'clock, to see how much money they're going to get, to see the reactions and everything from the people that was there at 6 o'clock. I thought that was very interesting. But if you look at it from the late workers' point of view, and this totally changes the story for me. If we go to Deuteronomy 15, go back over here. Deuteronomy 15. I'm going to go to 7 to 8. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother, but thou shalt open thine hand and wide unto him, and shall surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanteth. So long story short, the landowner was blessing the late workers. He went back to the marketplace, and he's seen these guys that were there all day. And I want to keep that in mind. These guys waited all day long. The 1 penny was enough for them to eat and maybe get some things that they needed. Imagine trying to live off of a penny. I mean, we all need a certain amount of money to live. I mean, a lot of us don't need to spend what we spend, but we need money to live. I mean, we need to pay for gas. We need money for food, groceries, and all that. So we have a certain amount of money that we need to actually, live comfortably. And that's what these people needed. And they're out there all day long hoping that they can get work. And this is 5 o'clock in the afternoon now. 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And these people are still out there hoping, praying, God, I need some work. We have no money. We have nothing to eat. What are we going to do? And this landowner goes and he gets these people at 5 o'clock. He said it. Why are you standing here? And they said, nobody is wanting to hire us. He took them. He gave these people a blessing. That's what I get out of this story. It's a blessing for the people that work late. The landowner was blessing the late workers. Just like we bless people all the time, that's what he was doing to them. We give to homeless, we give to charities, we give good tips to when we go out to eat, because we're blessing these people. We're blessing people. That's what he was doing. He was blessing the people that came in at 5 o'clock. They needed money, just like the people that he picked up at 6 o'clock in the morning needed money. They all need money. He was giving them a blessing. Yeah, the guys at 6 o'clock were working all day long, but they got their money that they agreed on. They agreed on that penny. Before they even took off, he said, I'll give you a penny to work for the day. And they said, okay, that's fine. Let's go. Let's do it. They got their penny. The late workers waited in the marketplace all day long to get that work. They got blessed. They got blessing for that. They could have easily at 12 o'clock said, you know what? I'm still here. Nobody's hiring me. I'm just going to go home and take a nap or something like that. But no, they didn't. They had faith. They believed that they could still get work, and they did. They got that work at 5 o'clock, and they got a blessing from the landowner for that denarius or that penny. The landowner knew what all the workers needed for pay, so they can get food and stuff for their families. Didn't matter how long they worked for. This is a story about blessing people. Again, he blessed them. Again, like we bless people, so we bless homeless people. We can go downtown or go to a camp or anything like that, and we can give them some money or give them something to eat. And it doesn't matter what they do with that money. If they go and they get something to eat, or they go and get drugs or alcohol or anything, it doesn't matter. That's between them and God. It's not up to us. We're called to bless them, and then it's on them what they do with the money. We're called to be generous. We're called to be generous. We're called to do blessings and give blessings, and that's what the landowner did. And then back to the point of view of the late workers, which is what I call them here in the story. Imagine if that was us. Go back to here. Imagine if that was us and we were out there and we were standing there all day hoping and praying to get a blessing, because we know that we don't have anything to eat at home. We don't have anything. We need money. Well, that's about annoying, isn't it? Let's hit that X or not. Let's go back here. Come back here. I don't want no ads popping up. Really can't stand that, but what are you gonna do? Go back here. This thing got ads all over the place that you can see anyway. Matthew 20. Boom. Imagine if that was us. How happy and thrilled we would be if somebody came at 5 o'clock and said, hey, I need some help. You can come with me. We'd be happy just knowing that we get anything. And I don't know if they did half a penny or what they did back then, but if we got just a little bit of money to get a little bit of food, that's exactly what we would be blessed with. And they ended up getting a whole penny. Can you imagine how happy they were? I mean, that is an absolute blessing and a miracle. And they would be so happy getting off of work, going to the store, going home, saying, hey, look what I got. This landowner, he blessed us with this penny. That's how you need to look at this story. Don't look at it as the point of view from the people that was there all day. Look at it from the point of view of the people that was there for an hour. And even if you do look at it from the point of view of the people that was there all day, they still got blessed. They went They went to the marketplace, and they wanted, the whole purpose of them going there is to work for the day and get paid. So again, they can get food, they can get groceries, whatever it is that they need. And they got picked up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they went and worked. Yeah, they worked all day and they busted their butt, but they still got paid. They got paid for what they agreed to get paid for. They got their penny. They agreed for that. So they're still able to go and get their groceries and go and get whatever it is they need. So they got a blessing too. They got money, because there's possibility that they couldn't even go to work. What if they're in the marketplace and no boss or no business owner or whatever comes to pick them up for work? They're standing there all day long, and they may not eat that night. So that's a blessing right there. They got the money that they agreed to get. Now they're upset because the late workers, they got the same amount, but they both got blessings. They both got money. They were there all day in the heat, sweating, all wore out, but they still got paid. So that's even a blessing right there. That's something that we need to realize, that, if we have a job, whether we hate it or not, or we don't get paid enough, I mean, it's still a blessing. We still get money. We still are able to pay our bills, and it's a blessing. Again, that's why the landowner, he wanted the late workers to get paid first, to see the reactions and stuff, because the people that were there all day, they shouldn't worry about that. They still got paid. They still got their money. They got their blessing. Again, we need to start being more grateful for what we have and stop worrying about what others have. We need to start being more generous. Don't worry about what the neighbor has, or don't worry about the new car that this guy got, or the big house up the street. Don't worry about that. And that leads me to something else, is sometimes you don't know what certain people do. This is about my last point. If there's somebody that has a lot, a big house, nice fancy cars, brand new clothes all the time, whatever. That's just an example. And you don't know that person, and you're jealous, and you say, why do they have this big house? Why do they have this nice car? Why do they have all these? You don't know what they do to get them blessings. You don't know how much money they tithe at church. They could be spot on 100% tithers, which means every single pay they put in their 10% into the, and they give to the church like they're supposed to. Religiously, they do that. You don't know how many charities that they bless. They could put money into all kinds of different charities. They can go out and, again, give to homeless, give to just many organizations. They may do all that, and you don't know that. And that's why they have a big house. And that's why they have big fancy cars. And that's why they have all these nice clothes, because they're being blessed for what they do. But you don't know that. You don't know that. Maybe if you start being more obedient with your tithing and you're blessing other people and your offerings, then maybe you will get blessed a little bit more. You think about that. The last part of this, and then we'll end it, is 16. So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. That's like a whole nother message. That's a whole nother Bible study on that one verse alone. But I do have something here. So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. So it says here, in a general sense, the first are the privileged, prestigious, and selfish who get ahead in this life while defying God's commandments. But they will receive condemnation in the life to come. The last, though rejected by the world, will receive a great reward in heaven. So the last shall be first, and the first last. Again, the first are the privileged, prestigious, and selfish who get ahead in this life while defying God's commandments. And you think about that too. I mean, you think about people that do have, that you may actually know, that are materialistic and they have a whole bunch of money. You know, they may be millionaires and they do have big fancy houses and mansions and cars and pole barns full of cars and all kinds of money, and they are not godly at all. They're not religious. They don't go to church. They don't give. They don't give to charities. They don't give to the church. They don't do anything. That's who they're talking about here. The first, the privileged, prestigious, and selfish who get ahead in this life. That's saying the last shall be first and the first last. So they're going to be last. And then they will receive condemnation in the life to come. The last, which is the godly people, which is us, though rejected by the world, because we are rejected by the world. You look at all the haters that hate on any godly person or pastor or anything like that. We will receive a great reward in heaven. So I've said it before, the people that is the first that have all this stuff, you ain't taking that stuff in heaven. No, you leave this world, that stuff stays here, and you ain't never going to see it again. So, you know, so many people will hear the gospel, but they will not listen. Only a very few people will be saved. And that's the truth too. You know, we could tell people about the gospel, about Jesus, salvation, and everything, and it's on them what they do with it. They can choose to listen and agree with it, accept it, and change their life, or they can laugh at you and say, "I don't want none of your fairy tale." You know, that's on them. Only a very few people will be saved, and that is true. You know, you have a nice wide path, and then you have a narrow path. Very few people take the narrow path. But you can translate this parable many ways. Some interpretations say even if you get saved late, you still get the benefits as if you were saved about 40 years. I choose to talk. I talked about the blessings. That's what I chose to talk about with this story, is about blessings and how the landowner blessed the people that came late and at 5 o'clock. That's how I chose to tell this story. But there's a lot more that you can get from this parable. But that's the one that I chose. So that's it. That is my take on the parable of the workers in the vineyard from Matthew chapter 20. And thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. And again, please like and share. And hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.